Great day, amazing humans. Yes, welcome to Empowering Bytes. This is where we keep it short and sweet. But who is the we? Well, the we is me, Nkechi, and
I'm Gabby with 1B. Pleased to be the co-host of these Empowering Bytes, where we keep it short and sweet.
E to the A to the B to the Y. Mamone! That is Gabby 1B Mamone. Let's go, girl. Let the show begin. Great day, amazing humans. Yes, it's your girl, Nkechi Robinson, and I'm here with the amazing, the incomparable, the prolific Gabriela, Gabby 1B, Mamone, host extraordinaire of the Lead Summit 2025, co-host, I should say, of the Lead Summit. Yes, 2025, girl. Woo!
Oh, thank you. Woo is right. What an event that was.
I love it. And I thank you so much. Thank you. I give you your flowers. It was amazing. You made it amazing. You guys started on time, y'all. You started early. You even started early.
We take timing very seriously at
I
MCs, right? You work with us. It's like, this is the time. This is the time. Even if there's 6 people in the room, we're starting on time.
To everyone that's listening, it's so funny because I made it really clear. I'm like, even if there's one person in the room, and you asked that at our pre-event meeting, I said, yeah, one person in the room, we start. Not only did they, I was like, they started ahead of time because I was like, whoa, is the event starting? Because I was in the back room and I looked at the clock and I was like, it was 10:25 because you guys started housekeeping at 10:27. I was like,
we were asking people to like start sitting down.
Yeah, and then you guys just started. Yeah. So I was like, well, they don't even start on time. They start early. That was awesome. I loved it.
You know, time is currency, and we appreciate everyone's time. And those that are on time, we're starting. That's the way.
And we finished on time. We started on time, finished on time. Every segment was pretty much on. Every segment was on time.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. You had a timer in the audience showing green, yellow, and red cards. Like, we took it seriously. I appreciate it.
Yes, we did. I love it. I love it because people's time, you can't get it back, but you can enrich it. And that's what that was the focus. Let's use their time for value, And so anyway, Lead Summit was prolific. It was epic. I'm really excited. We have the date for 2026. It's coming. I have to just confirm with the venue. So same place, different. It's going to be a different date. But yeah, a year from now, just under a year from now, I'm really excited. The countdown's on.
Love it. It's in my calendar already.
What are we talking about? I guess we're going to talk about Lead.
Let's talk about Lead. Lead means different things to different people, but I love the acronym that was used at your event. And I think that it's important for the listeners, the viewers, to understand the place that we're coming from, because the word lead means something so profound. So do you want to take us through that?
Yeah. So if you, if you if you want, you can go back to our May 8th Empowering Bytes, because we actually said why we lead. And I think at that point in time, we announced the event. We were kind of explaining the event, and I introduced that Lead came to me in spirit, and it stands for Learn, Elevate, Activate, and Disrupt. And so I truly, I believe that everyone is actually called to lead. And, through the work I get to do everywhere, even just like definitely through the platform of Empowered by Skin, is really about helping people figure out what their lead really is supposed to be, the one that they're designed to do. And it's always from within, right? It's within their skin. And so, it was really important for me to make sure that everyone that attended that event knew that they were not only born to lead, they were called to lead. And that summit was really an invitation. It was a divine calling for everyone that entered into that space to really come in, get some insight as to their lead, like through hearing other nuggets and this, that, and the other, because that's how we really learn, right? Like, it's really about learning out of people's experiences and then using that to add to our toolkit. But to then leave from that environment, really even more and better equipped, especially in this world that we're in now with all of the disruptions that are happening, and uncertainties that are happening, to be able to be better positioned to continue to lead in our lives, right? And so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so we talked about it. So I can start to share the framework, right? I talked about how I developed specifically for lead an inner power paradigm, so IPP. And the inner power paradigm is, so if you can imagine, if I had a diagram, it's lead, then the arrow goes into elevate, and then the arrow goes into activate and to disrupt, and you're continuously on this continuum of this paradigm. And so at any
Mm-hmm.
given, anybody that was in that room, myself included, at some point on the paradigm, we're somewhere. We're either in the learning, we're in the elevation, we're in the activation, or we're in the disruption component, right? So L for learn, L was learn, which is about awakening the inner leader. And I think I've been doing that since how
Yes.
actually Empowered My Skin got founded was, you know, I always talk about be convinced about who you are. Otherwise, you're victim to what the world will ascribe on your human, right? And typically
Yes.
it's not always going to be something that serves you in the best, but the truth is you can't lead others without first leading yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And leadership is not about it's not about having a title, it's not about a stage. It's really it starts in the quiet places, right? It's actually how you lead self, right? It's the work that you do in the mirror, it's the work that you do in your journal, it's the uncomfortable self-reflection that you need to walk through. And so, it was about, you know perhaps changing the perspective of what typically people chase titles.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but I think true leadership is actually defined through your identity, like it's identified through or discovered through identity. How do you
Yes.
identify yourself, right? And so I invited the group, everyone, to what is it that you then need to unlearn in order to lead in truth? Because I would say that a lot of us, myself included, have picked up
Mm. Yeah.
false truths about ourselves. And those will always impact our lead. So it's about unlearning what that could be. And what I really, really loved is, I just kind of got into it. I was like, and no time in any of that learning, as you start to learn the truth about yourself, do you ever, and I'm going to say this, like, no matter how hard it is, you don't drop the lead. No matter how much hurt you might be going through, you don't drop the lead. No matter how tired you are, you don't drop the lead. No matter if people talk about you, whether they celebrate you, whether they ignore you or reject you, you don't drop the
Lead.
right. No matter
Yeah.
if you are in the top of the mountain or you're in the low valley, you don't drop the
Lead.
no matter if you didn't get that job promotion, you didn't get the job itself, or somebody didn't call you back, you don't drop the no
Lead.
matter if you're feeling sick or you're energetic or you're on a beach or you're at home scrubbing floors, you don't drop the.
Lead.
That's right. No matter whatever it is that you're having to endure in life, you don't.
Drop the lead.
That is right. And so I left them realizing that you cannot lead from a place that you have not yet
Yeah.
discovered. And so it is so imperative that or haven't visited, it is so imperative that you get to know who you are.
Yeah. Now,
That was
before we
number
move
one.
to, yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. And before we move to elevate, one of the things that I noticed that the audience also took away just from their comments and their interaction with each other was they're not leading from a place of ego. They're leading from a place of wisdom, from
Yes.
understanding. They're
Yes.
curious. They're
Yes.
humble. They're open
Yes.
to new
Yeah.
perspectives,
It's
and
truth.
that's key because
It's your truth.
leaders, yeah, leaders grow in self awareness, like
Hmm.
empathy, strategy, and it's imperative that they're not leading from ego, they're leading from wisdom and
That's
understanding.
right.
So I gathered that in your speech for sure.
That's right. Then the next one, E, elevate, was really about growing into higher potential. And elevation is not about applause. It's about posture. And if you remember, I
Mm,
was like, if you think about it, like when I say that, stand up, like your elevation is going to be about your posture.
yeah.
Elevation is about the decision that you make to rise, even when no one sees you doing it. And I think about like some of my most elevated thoughts really do happen sort of when I'm alone. I'm like, you know what, Ink, no, your next step has to be like a higher step, like, you know what I mean? And so and it's in those moments, like, you don't typically perform when you're by yourself. So it's not
Mm,
about presence. It's about choosing presence over performance, right? Like
yeah.
I want to be completely present in a room to feel my most elevated self than trying to fake it to like than trying to like perform the way that I think others want me to
Yeah.
be performing. So it's really your presence, and the essence of your presence is your
Yes.
elevation, right? And
Yeah.
so it's your conviction over convenience, right? It's going to be, what are you convicted about? That's the stuff that's going to really elevate you,
Yeah, for
not the
sure.
stuff that's
What
easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I agreed. I loved this part of your talk because I actually also related it to recognizing the elevation of talent in others and building
Mm,
my confidence, building others'
mm,
confidence. It's
mm,
raising the standard basically within your
mm,
team, within your community, within your industry. Like
mm,
it's elevating all of that. And
mm,
I asked myself, I'm like, who am I elevating today?
mm.
Because the true leaders do not climb alone. They bring others with them,
That
right?
is
Nobody
correct.
gets to the top alone. We have to elevate each other.
That
And
is
so I
correct.
really took that from that portion of your talk.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. And thank you for adding that. And you know, and I think, and it's so funny because Cassie was a complete like like if anyone knows, like, so Cassie's our one of our hosts of Wit Love podcast. She also really helped us get to the finish line on this event. But you know, she was one of the reasons why I said elevation is like when you stop negotiating your visibility, right? Because a lot of times she says she was sitting at tables not feeling visible, and I was like, you know, we got to stop negotiating our you are visible. Like I actually see you. So you know what I mean? Like, so it's about understanding your value that you have in
Yeah.
the rooms that you enter. And I think if anyone, when you get to real elevation, I think just your presence in a room elevates the experience,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't detract from it, it adds to it, you know? Then A was activate. So it's so important after you've learned, after you've done the elevation, like what actions are you taking? So it's about embodying the work. It's about, you know, stepping away from the I'm not enough, I'm not good at, like, you have gifts. You have gifts. And so what are you waiting for to really just like amplify those gifts, shine a
Yeah.
bright light on them, and like and you should feel a fear when you get to that point where you're like ready to like pounce on you, like pounce in life, it should feel scary. Otherwise, you're not doing it, right? So it's not supposed to feel comfortable. It's actually supposed to feel a little bit like uncomfortable. And just know that to lead is not about just waiting until you're ready. It's about doing it on today with everything that you already have, because it truly is enough. So I think activations, this it's a sense of obedience. And I remember I shared with the group that when lead came to me, right? Even when empower, I think I might have even talked to you about it. Like how many
Yeah.
people did I talk about? And I
You did.
still hadn't set a date. I still hadn't paid a deposit. And I recognized that I had this revelation to do, and I shared it that day. I had this revelation to do this event. It took me activating. It took me
Yeah.
activating that revelation. And I said, I recognize, how many things have I had revelation about that I still have revelation about? And the truth is, that's just spiritual entertainment. Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like spiritually, I'm being entertained. Like, do this, you're gonna be that. You're gonna
Yeah.
be. I've taken zero action. Right? Like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Revelation is really about, you know, taking action, embodying the work that you are designed and here to do, and just leading forward with, you know, clarity and courage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing that I took from that is leadership is not just about your vision, it's about
Hmm.
momentum.
Yes.
Momentum comes from
Yes.
activation. You need to activate
Yes.
your purpose, activate your people, activate your ideas
Yes.
to take it to the next level. You have to act.
Yes.
You have to act.
Yes.
That's it.
So
You have
everyone
to
here
act.
that's listening, what is the next step that you actually been avoid taking? You know, and we encourage you today to take it. And last but not least, my favorite, disrupt. D is disrupt. It's about
Yeah.
transform and influence. And I think disruption often gets a bad rap. People think it's
Mm.
very chaotic, right? But I actually want to say that I actually personally think disruption is, I think the word disrupt is pretty sexy, but
Yeah.
I think the divine disruption is sacred, right? Like, and I think you know, to disrupt is to break cycles, is to break programming. It's to break the old systems, the old way of doing things, especially when you recognize that those old ways just feel way too left you like a comfortable shoe, right? Like it's to say enough to the things that just no longer serve you or others, right? And it's about stepping into the unknown and recognizing that sometimes just who you are as a human being is disruption, right? Like you walk into
Yes.
a room and you're going to challenge the status quo. Like
Yeah.
suddenly the way we've been doing things isn't good enough anymore. You are listening for the white, like call it the white spaces, but you're listening for those spaces of opportunity
Yeah.
that allow you to enter, to introduce another way of thinking, another way of being, another way of approaching things, like that's disruption, like
Yeah.
when you stop people saying, how about, you know, how about we try this? How about we entertain this? So, I think disruption has a vibration to it, like a really
Yeah.
great vibration to it when it's done right. And it's not destruction. I truly do think it's obedience. There's something in your heart that is pulling you. And I
Yeah.
think that that's the thing that you need to recognize is disruption, and it's going to
Mm.
feel uncomfortable, and sometimes it's going to feel like affliction. And I just was at a great sermon on Sunday afterwards, and it said, my anointing is forged from affliction. I think i think about your journey, right? Like, I think how you've taken so much out of having MS to
Mhm.
really contribute to a better world, like to
Mhm.
and I think it's the ones amongst us that go through the most amount of affliction, and I think that create the most amount of of sacred disruption in this world, so
Mm.
in closing, that's what I was encouraging everybody, that at any given time you're somewhere on that inner power paradigm, whether you're learning, elevating, activating, disruption, somewhere you're in there in that cycle, and it's not supposed to be easy. You're going to be doing it while there's a whole bunch of other stuff doing. And the key call to action was, no matter whatever it is, don't ever, ever drop the lead. You were meant to lead. You were called to lead. And I don't
Yeah.
care what you have to do, don't drop the lead.
Yeah. And I would say some of my takeaways were create positive impact,
Mm-hmm.
uh, serve others, not to
Mm-hmm.
be served,
Yes.
guide change, not
Mm-hmm.
just respond to change,
Mm-hmm.
and inspire, influence, and innovate. And
I
this
love
kind of
that.
like embodies everything. And ask yourself,
Yes.
what are you willing? What are you willing to risk for
What
that
are you willing
change?
to risk?
Make
There's
a
got to be a
change.
risk. There's a sacrifice. There's
Yeah.
something. But let me just tell you, no matter what it is, don't drop the lead.
Yeah.
Everyone was born to lead, called to lead. So don't drop the lead, y'all. Don't drop the lead.
I
I love
love
it.
it. I
It's a
love it.
hashtag
Thank you for
now. It's a
this
hashtag. It's a
inspirational sermon.
hashtag.
I love it.
It's a hashtag. It's actually a t-shirt. I got don't drop the lead t-shirts too. I love it. I love it. So, Gabby, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm so excited and feel so passionate. It truly is a movement, and you were a part of it. And I thank you. I thank
Ah,
you.
thank you for the opportunity. I remember when you had the vision, the dream. You're like, I want to have an event,
And I moved it from
and then it just
revelation to
started there.
reality. I stopped the spiritual entertainment.
That's right. It started there. You took the action. You did the steps.
Yes,
We were on
yes,
time and
yes,
people were
yes.
transformed. And it was
I
like,
love it.
okay,
I love it.
mission accomplished.
I love you. Thank you, listeners, for listening. Thank
Love
you, watchers,
you.
for watching. And to everyone, this is where I say I'm Ink,
And I'm Gabby with 1B.
and we're out.
Bye bye. Don't drop the
Bye-bye.
lead.
Don't drop the lead. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.